Ladies and gentlemen, success is not the product of one giant leap. It is the result of 1,000 tiny steps taken with faith and determination. Too often we look at success as something grand, something only a few can achieve. We become consumed by the idea of one big win, and in doing so, we overlook the power that resides in the small steps we take every single day. Today I want to speak to you about the profound truth. Small steps every day lead to big wins. This truth is not only the foundation of success, but also the key to personal transformation. It's not in the grand gestures, but in the daily discipline that real change is found. Small steps are often underestimated in their ability to lead us to greatness. We live in a world that celebrates grand achievements, instant gratification, and overnight success. The media bombards us with stories of people who seem to have achieved greatness in a single moment, whether it's through viral success or major breakthroughs. But the truth is, the real transformation, the real power, comes from the small, consistent actions we take every single day. The process of becoming who we are meant to be is not a singular event. It is a journey marked by everyday decisions, however small they may seem. These decisions might appear insignificant on the surface, but over time they compound into something far greater than we ever anticipated. Every choice, no matter how trivial it may seem in the moment, leads us closer to who we are destined to become. Each decision is a building block, a small but essential part of the foundation we are laying for our future selves. When we talk about consistency, we are not just referring to doing something repeatedly. We are talking about a commitment to the process, an understanding that transformation comes not from one big action, but from showing up, day after day, doing the things that matter, regardless of how small the effort might appear. Consistency builds the habit of commitment, and habits shape who we are. In essence, our identity is built upon the small actions we consistently take. Take, for example, the journey to health and wellness. Often when we start a fitness routine, we look at the end goal, the dream body, the stamina, the overall health. But we fail to see the value in each step that leads to that destination. Going to the gym once doesn't change much. But going consistently, day after day, week after week, gradually brings about the transformation we seek. It's not just about lifting weights or running miles. It's about creating a habit of discipline. Over time, that habit becomes part of our identity. We are no longer just someone who works out. We become a person who prioritizes health, a person who values consistency and growth. Similarly, success in any field doesn't come from one big act. It comes from repeatedly practicing the skills that contribute to that success. Think about someone learning to play an instrument. They don't become a virtuoso after a few practice sessions, but after months and years of practice, the small, seemingly insignificant hours spent learning scales, correcting mistakes, and refining technique add up to mastery. That same principle applies to every area of life. Whether it's business, art, or personal development, success is built upon countless small steps, each contributing to the whole. The beauty of consistency lies in the fact that it doesn't require perfection. It requires commitment. It means doing what needs to be done, even on days when motivation is low, when we don't feel like it, when the results are not yet visible. Those are the moments that matter the most. It's easy to show up when everything is going well, but it's in the moments of struggle and doubt that consistency is tested. Yet, when we continue to take small steps, even in the face of difficulty, we show ourselves that we are not just capable of achieving our goals, but that we are resilient, determined, and focused on the long-term outcome. And let's not forget the power of small victories. When we commit to consistent action, we begin to experience the fruits of our labor. These small victories don't have to be grand or celebrated by the world, but they serve as reminders that we are on the right path. A small victory might be completing a task that's been on our to-do list for weeks, or writing a few pages in a book we've been meaning to finish. These little wins build momentum. They remind us that progress is happening, even when the results are not immediately obvious. Over time, those small victories compound, creating a bigger picture of success. But perhaps the most important aspect of consistency is the transformation it brings to our identity. Consistency doesn't just shape our habits, it shapes who we become. When we commit to taking small steps every day, we transform into someone capable of achieving big things. We are no longer just talking about our goals, we are living them. We become people who are disciplined, who can endure setbacks, and who know that success is a journey that requires persistence. Through consistency, we become the person who reaches the goal, not just someone wishing for it. In the end, transformation is not about the grand gestures or the sudden breakthroughs. It is the quiet, consistent commitment to daily actions that leads us to the life we envision. The person you are becoming is a result of the small steps you take today, so don't overlook them. Every decision you make, every small action you take, is shaping your future. And as you continue with those small steps, you will one day look back and realize that the person you are today is the result of the consistent actions you took yesterday. Keep moving forward and trust that each small step is guiding you to the bigger wins ahead. Success is often portrayed as a sudden flash of brilliance, a moment when everything falls into place and we achieve our dreams. But the truth is far more profound and empowering. Success is not a dramatic event that occurs overnight. It is the cumulative effect of small, seemingly insignificant efforts made consistently over time. These little actions, when taken one step at a time, compound and build a foundation that leads to greater accomplishments. It is through these incremental progressions that we become capable of achieving the big wins we desire. Consider the process of learning a new skill or mastering a craft. At first, the effort seems small, almost trivial. Whether it's practicing a musical instrument, studying a new language, or developing a professional skill, the progress may appear slow and hardly noticeable. The first few steps feel almost insignificant. The fingers fumble over the strings of the guitar, or the tongue stumbles over unfamiliar words. It might feel like nothing is changing, but it's in these seemingly minor actions that the groundwork for mastery is laid. Each small effort builds upon the last. The key to success lies in the fact that these efforts are not isolated events, but parts of an ongoing process of growth. With each practice session, with each repetition, you improve, even if the improvement is barely noticeable. Over time, the skill becomes more refined, the process more fluid, and the results become evident. What started as an uncertain, clumsy attempt begins to evolve into something powerful. Incremental progress works the same way in every area of life. When we break down a big goal into smaller, manageable steps, we make it easier to stay focused and motivated. Instead of being overwhelmed by the enormity of the task ahead, we can focus on one piece at a time. It's not about trying to conquer everything at once, but about making consistent progress in small, meaningful ways. As we continue to take one step after another, those small efforts compound, creating momentum that drives us forward. This process of incremental progress is crucial because it prepares us for the bigger challenges ahead. Success is not merely about reaching the end goal, it's about the journey that leads us there. The small victories along the way build our strength, resilience, and skill. They teach us how to handle challenges, how to bounce back from setbacks, and how to continue moving forward even when things seem difficult. These little wins are not just checkpoints, they are building blocks. Each small success strengthens our foundation, making us more capable and more confident in our ability to achieve larger victories. In business, for example, growth often comes in small, incremental steps. It's the consistent work done day after day, connecting with customers, refining products, improving services, that leads to long-term success. There are no shortcuts to building a successful company. It's the steady day-to-day grind that positions a business for success. A business doesn't suddenly become profitable, it grows incrementally, through constant learning, adaptation, and improvement. Even in personal development, the power of incremental progress is at play. If you're working to improve yourself, whether in your physical health, mental well-being, or emotional resilience, it's the small, consistent actions that build a better you. You may not see drastic changes from one day to the next, but with every positive choice you make, you're strengthening your foundation for future growth. Whether it's eating healthier, practicing mindfulness, or working on building better relationships, these small steps have a profound impact over time. Incremental progress also helps us avoid the pitfall of perfectionism. Often we get discouraged when we don't see immediate results or when we feel that our efforts are not making a significant impact. But the beauty of incremental progress is that it doesn't demand perfection, it only asks for consistency. You don't need to be perfect to make progress. You don't need to have everything figured out from the start. What matters is showing up day in and day out and doing the work, no matter how small it may seem. As these small actions accumulate, they begin to shift our mindset. We stop focusing on the enormity of the task and instead celebrate the small wins along the way. These victories, though seemingly minor, fuel our motivation and keep us moving forward. They remind us that we are making progress, even if it's not immediately obvious. The power of incremental progress lies in the fact that every small step matters, and each one takes us closer to our ultimate goal. Success is not about finding the shortcut or the quick fix. It is about understanding that the path to greatness is built one small step at a time. It's the small victories, the moments of progress that may not seem like much on their own, that eventually lead to the larger triumphs. When we commit to taking one step at a time, we allow those small actions to compound and create the momentum needed to achieve the big wins we seek. Over time, these small efforts will lead us to a place of great achievement. And we'll realize that it was the incremental progress, the steady accumulation of daily actions, that made all the difference. In our pursuit of success, it's easy to become fixated on the end goal, the big win. We envision that moment when everything comes together, when we've achieved the dream we've been chasing. It's natural to want that final outcome, that sense of accomplishment. But here's the truth. Success doesn't only lie in the destination. It resides in the journey itself. Too often we get so focused on the result that we forget the importance of the steps along the way. Focusing solely on the end goal can lead to frustration, burnout, and a lack of fulfillment. The key to sustained success lies in focusing on the process, the daily actions and the learning that takes place as we move forward. When we focus only on the goal, we risk missing out on the growth and development that happens in the moments leading up to it. Every step we take, no matter how small, is a chance to improve, to refine our approach, and to learn. The journey is where we build resilience, discipline, and perseverance, qualities that will serve us far beyond any one achievement. It's the process that shapes us, not just the outcome. Small steps in the process allow us to stay engaged even when the finish line seems distant or unclear. If we only focus on the big win, the gap between where we are and where we want to be can feel overwhelming. We can become discouraged, feeling as though we're not making progress fast enough. But when we focus on the process, we break down the journey into manageable pieces, allowing us to take action without becoming paralyzed by the enormity of the task ahead. Taking the time to focus on the process means celebrating the small victories along the way. These victories might not make the headlines, and they might not feel like major milestones, but they are vital. Completing a small task, mastering a new skill, or even just staying on track for a week, these moments matter. They remind us that we are progressing, that our efforts are making a difference. Celebrating these minor victories keeps us motivated, providing the energy and encouragement needed to continue on the path toward our larger goal. It's easy to overlook these small wins, but they are the markers of progress. The more we celebrate them, the more we fuel our passion and commitment to the journey. By focusing on the process, we also create space for flexibility and adaptability. The road to success is rarely straight. We will encounter challenges, setbacks, and obstacles that we didn't anticipate. If we are fixated solely on the goal, we may become discouraged when things don't go as planned. But when we embrace the process, we become more open to course corrections. We learn to adjust our strategies, tweak our approaches, and adapt to changing circumstances. The process teaches us how to navigate difficulties and stay on track, even when the path isn't clear. This adaptability is essential for long-term success, because it's not always the most talented or most gifted who succeed. is often the one who is willing to learn from the journey and make adjustments along the way. Focusing on the process also helps us manage our expectations and stay patient. We live in a world that constantly emphasizes speed and instant gratification, but real success takes time. When we focus on the process, we let go of the need for immediate results. We understand that growth and achievement are built over time, through steady, consistent efforts. This mindset allows us to avoid frustration and discouragement, knowing that each small step is one step closer to our ultimate goal. Another benefit of focusing on the process is that it reduces the pressure we place on ourselves. Too often, we hold ourselves to unrealistic expectations, thinking that if we don't reach the goal quickly, we're failing. This pressure can paralyze us, leading to procrastination or giving up altogether. But when we shift our focus to the process, we take the pressure off. We stop obsessing over the outcome and start enjoying the journey. We begin to see progress in the everyday actions we take, and we become more comfortable with the idea that success is a marathon, not a sprint. Focusing on the process also fosters a sense of self-compassion. We all have setbacks, and we all face moments when we feel like we're not making progress fast enough. When we focus on the goal alone, we are often too hard on ourselves, expecting perfection and instant results. But when we focus on the process, we understand that setbacks are part of the journey. We learn to treat ourselves with kindness, to acknowledge that every step, even the ones that feel like failures, is a valuable part of the process. This compassion enables us to keep moving forward with greater ease and resilience. In any pursuit, whether personal or professional, focusing on the process is what sustains long-term success. The road to success is not always smooth or straight, but it's through the process that we gain the strength, knowledge, and wisdom needed to handle what lies ahead. When we engage in the process, we are not just working toward an external goal. We are evolving into the person we need to be in order to reach that goal. By focusing on the steps, not just the destination, we create a path of continuous growth and improvement. In doing so, we ensure that when we finally achieve our big win, we are not only ready for it, but we are the person we need to be to sustain it. In our pursuit of success, it's easy to become fixated on the end goal, the big win. We envision that moment when everything comes together, when we've achieved the dream we've been chasing. It's natural to want that final outcome, that sense of accomplishment. But here's the truth. Success doesn't only lie in the destination. It resides in the journey itself. Too often we get so focused on the result that we forget the importance of the steps along the way. Focusing solely on the end goal can lead to frustration, burnout, and a lack of fulfillment. The key to sustained success lies in focusing on the process, the daily actions and the learning that takes place as we move forward. When we focus only on the goal, we risk missing out on the growth and development that happens in the moments leading up to it. Every step we take, no matter how small, is a chance to improve, to refine our approach, and to learn. The journey is where we build resilience, discipline, and perseverance, qualities that will serve us far beyond any one achievement. It's the process that shapes us, not just the outcome. Small steps in the process allow us to stay engaged, even when the finish line seems distant or unclear. If we only focus on the big win, the gap between where we are and where we want to be can feel overwhelming. We can become discouraged, feeling as though we are not making progress fast enough. But when we focus on the process, we break down the journey into manageable pieces, allowing us to take action without becoming paralyzed by the enormity of the task ahead. Taking the time to focus on the process means celebrating the small victories along the way. These victories might not make the headlines, and they might not feel like major milestones, but they are vital. Completing a small task, mastering a new skill, or even just staying on track for a week, these moments matter. They remind us that we are progressing, that celebrating these minor victories keeps us motivated, providing the energy and encouragement needed to continue on the path toward our larger goal. It's easy to overlook these small wins, but they are the markers of progress. The more we celebrate them, the more we fuel our passion and commitment to the journey. By focusing on the process, we also create space for flexibility and adaptability. The road to success is rarely straight. We will encounter challenges, setbacks, and obstacles that we didn't anticipate. If we are fixated solely on the goal, we may become discouraged when things don't go as planned. But when we embrace the process, we become more open to course corrections. We learn to adjust our strategies, tweak our approaches, and adapt to changing circumstances. The process teaches us how to navigate difficulties and stay on track, even when the path isn't clear. This adaptability is essential for long-term success because it's not always the most talented or most gifted who succeed. It's often the one who is willing to learn from the journey and make adjustments along the way. Focusing on the process also helps us manage our expectations and stay patient. We live in a world that constantly emphasizes speed and instant gratification, but real success takes time. When we focus on the process, we let go of the need for immediate results. We understand that growth and achievement are built over time, through steady, consistent efforts. This mindset allows us to avoid frustration and discouragement, knowing that each small step is one step closer to our ultimate goal. Another benefit of focusing on the process is that it reduces the pressure we place on ourselves. Too often, we hold ourselves to unrealistic expectations, thinking that if we don't reach the goal quickly, we're failing. This pressure can paralyze us, leading to procrastination or giving up altogether. But when we shift our focus to the process, we take the pressure off. We stop obsessing over the outcome and start enjoying the journey. We begin to see progress in the everyday actions we take, and we become more comfortable with the idea that success is a marathon, not a sprint. Focusing on the process also fosters a sense of self-compassion. We all have setbacks, and we all face moments when we feel like we're not making progress fast enough. When we focus on the goal alone, we are often too hard on ourselves, expecting perfection and instant results. But when we focus on the process, we understand that setbacks are part of the journey. We learn to treat ourselves with kindness, to acknowledge that every step, even the ones that feel like failures, is a valuable part of the process. This compassion enables us to keep moving forward with greater ease and resilience. In any pursuit, whether personal or professional, focusing on the process is what sustains long-term success. The road to success is not always smooth or straight, but it's through the process that we gain the strength, knowledge, and wisdom needed to handle what lies ahead. When we engage in the process, we are not just working toward an external goal. We are evolving into the person we need to be in order to reach that goal. By focusing on the steps, not just the destination, we create a path of continuous growth and improvement. In doing so, we ensure that when we finally achieve our big win, we are not only ready for it, but we are the person we need to be to sustain it. Greatness is not a destination we reach overnight. It is the result of years of dedication, persistence, and hard work. In a world that often values quick fixes and instant gratification, it's easy to become impatient, yearning for the fast track to success. However, true success doesn't come from taking shortcuts. It comes from the small, incremental steps we take over time. It is the patience and perseverance we display during the journey that ultimately leads to the results we desire. Patience is one of the most powerful qualities we can develop. It is the understanding that growth takes time and that results are not immediate. When we start something new, whether it's building a business, learning a new skill, or improving our health, it's tempting to expect rapid progress. We want to see instant results. But the reality is that significant change is a gradual process. The small steps we take each day may seem slow, but they are building something far more valuable than any quick win: resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to keep moving forward despite obstacles. It's the strength to persevere when things get tough. It's easy to keep going when everything is going smoothly, but real character is developed when we face challenges. Small steps help us build that character. When we encounter difficulties, those consistent daily efforts give us the foundation to push through. Each time we show up, even when progress feels minimal, we are strengthening our resilience. Over time, this resilience becomes a vital asset. It becomes the muscle that keeps us moving forward, even when we encounter failure or when the path seems unclear. Perseverance is equally important in this journey. It is the determination to continue even when the road gets rough, when we don't see immediate results, or when we question whether all our efforts are worth it. Perseverance isn't about the absence of doubt or frustration. It's about pushing forward despite those feelings. It's about choosing to stay on course, trusting that every step is leading us closer to our goal, even if the progress feels slow. Think about the process of planting a seed. You don't see the fruit of your labor immediately. In fact, you may not see anything happening at all for weeks, months, or even longer. But beneath the surface, something is taking place. The seed is taking root, growing, and preparing to sprout. The gardener doesn't become impatient and uproot the seed out of frustration. Instead, they patiently water and nurture it, knowing that, in time, the growth will be evident. The same principle applies to our own growth. Small steps taken with patience and perseverance will eventually bear fruit. But we must trust the process and give it time. Understanding that success is not an overnight event allows us to develop the patience required to keep moving forward despite setbacks. Every time we encounter a challenge or face a delay, we are given the opportunity to practice perseverance. Setbacks are not roadblocks. They are part of the journey. They offer valuable lessons that, if we choose to embrace them, will make us stronger and more equipped to handle future challenges. The danger of expecting instant results is that we may become disheartened if we don't see immediate progress. This can lead to frustration, giving up, or abandoning our goals altogether. But when we embrace patience, we learn to appreciate the small steps. We learn to find satisfaction not in the end result, but in the consistent effort we put in each day. We begin to value the journey itself. Each day of effort becomes its own reward, as we recognize that it is contributing to our overall growth. Patience and perseverance go hand in hand. One without the other would not be effective. Patience allows us to remain calm and committed to the process, even when things are moving slowly. Perseverance pushes us to keep going when we feel like quitting. Together, they create a powerful force that propels us towards success. When we combine patience with perseverance, we shift our mindset. We stop looking for shortcuts and quick fixes and start focusing on the long-term goal. We learn that success is not a straight line. It is a winding road that requires us to keep moving forward, no matter how slow the progress may seem. Small steps taken over time will lead us to the results we seek, and in the process we will become stronger, more capable, and more resilient. The true power of patience and perseverance lies in the fact that they are not just about waiting for success to happen. They are about actively working toward it, day after day, no matter what obstacles arise. Every small step we take builds the endurance needed to tackle future challenges, and over time these steps will accumulate into something far greater than we could have imagined. With patience and perseverance, the slow pace of progress becomes less of a concern, and the joy of growth becomes the true reward. Every journey begins with a single step, and as we take those steps, we build something far more valuable than just progress. We build confidence. It is through small wins, those seemingly insignificant accomplishments, that we begin to trust ourselves and our abilities. Each time we achieve a small goal, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of achieving more. This growing sense of self-belief is not just about feeling good in the moment. It becomes the foundation upon which we can build greater success. Confidence doesn't come from grand achievements alone. It is often the small, consistent victories that create the momentum we need to tackle bigger challenges. When we achieve something small, we experience a sense of accomplishment that boosts our belief in ourselves. These moments may seem minor on their own, but when viewed as a collection of successes, they tell a powerful story. Each small win reinforces the idea that we are capable of reaching our goals, that we can continue to move forward despite obstacles, and that we have the strength to keep going. As we continue to achieve small goals, we start to develop a track record of success. This track record becomes more than just a list of completed tasks. It becomes evidence of our competence, of our ability to overcome challenges, and of our perseverance. With each success, we reinforce the belief that we are not only capable, but also worthy of achieving bigger dreams. Our confidence grows as we see the pattern of success unfold. We begin to trust that we can rise to the occasion, no matter the difficulty of the task at hand. We stop doubting our abilities and start trusting in our capacity to handle whatever comes our way. The beauty of small steps is that they don't just build confidence, they also develop our trust in the process. When we begin to achieve small goals, we see firsthand that the effort we put in yields results. We start to trust that consistent action, no matter how small, will eventually lead to something bigger. This trust in the process is vital because it keeps us moving forward, even when the results aren't immediate. When we see the incremental progress we make, we realize that success is not about instant gratification, it's about steady, persistent effort. This trust in the process builds confidence in ourselves because we learn that we can rely on our actions to produce the results we desire. As our confidence grows, so does our willingness to take on more significant challenges. The small victories we experience along the way give us the courage to dream bigger. We begin to believe that we are capable of tackling larger goals, ones that might have once seemed out of reach. With every small success, our vision expands. We start to see that our potential is not limited to what we've already achieved, but that it stretches far beyond, to bigger, more ambitious dreams. The confidence built from small wins is not just a fleeting feeling. It becomes the foundation for our future accomplishments. Moreover, as we continue to achieve small goals, we begin to recognize patterns in our own behavior and strengths. We start to see what works for us, what motivates us, and where we excel. This self-awareness further enhances our confidence because it gives us insight into our own capabilities. We start to trust that we have the tools and skills necessary to handle challenges because we've seen ourselves overcome obstacles in the past, no matter how small or large. The process of achieving small goals also helps us develop resilience. We learn that setbacks are part of the journey, and each small success, even in the face of failure, proves to us that we can persist. Resilience is built through the repeated act of overcoming difficulties. And with every small win, we become more capable of handling setbacks without losing faith in ourselves. By achieving small goals, we are not just moving closer to a bigger vision, we are also becoming stronger, more confident versions of ourselves. With each step forward, we reinforce the belief that we can do more, that we are capable of achieving greater things. These small victories do not just validate our current abilities. They open up possibilities for what we can achieve in the future. With every success, we realize that the gap between where we are and where we want to be is not as wide as it once seemed. We see that we are not just working toward an outcome. We are becoming the kind of person who can make that outcome a reality. As we continue this process, our confidence becomes unshakable. The small steps we've taken, the goals we've achieved, and the obstacles we've overcome all work together to create an unwavering belief in our own potential. We trust that we can handle whatever comes next because we have built a track record of success. And with each new goal, we find ourselves more capable, more confident, and more ready to take on the bigger dreams that await us. The power of small steps is that over time they transform us into the kind of person who can accomplish great things, one small success at a time. Change is often viewed as something dramatic, something that happens in a moment of inspiration or a bold decision. We tend to think that transformation requires a grand gesture, a single life-changing moment that propels us into a new reality. However, true, lasting change doesn't come from a single leap. It comes from the small, deliberate choices we make every day. These small steps, when taken consistently, create a foundation for transformation that becomes a sustainable part of who we are. It is through these tiny, seemingly insignificant actions that we create meaningful, long-term change in our lives. The process of change begins with one simple decision. It's about choosing to take action, even when the results aren't immediately visible. When we commit to making small changes, we are essentially saying, I am willing to put in the effort, day by day, to transform my life. These decisions might not feel monumental in the moment, but over time they accumulate and start to shape us in ways that lead to deep, lasting transformation. Small steps allow us to create change in a way that is sustainable. Many people start with big, bold resolutions, deciding to overhaul their entire lifestyle, career, or habits all at once. While the enthusiasm for such transformations may be high at first, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the enormity of the task. This is where small steps come in. Instead of trying to change everything overnight, small steps allow us to take manageable actions that gradually add up to significant progress. These small, consistent actions don't require an all-or-nothing mentality. They allow us to stay committed even when progress seems slow. This sustainability is what makes the change last. Think of it like the process of building a house. You don't build a house all at once. It's done brick by brick, layer by layer. Each brick, while small, contributes to the overall structure. It might seem insignificant in the beginning, but as the layers accumulate, the house begins to take shape. In the same way, small steps create the framework for lasting change. Each decision, each small action adds to the foundation that eventually supports the transformation we desire. Over time, this steady accumulation of small steps results in a complete and lasting change. One of the greatest benefits of small steps is that they make transformation feel achievable. When we try to make drastic changes all at once, we often feel discouraged if things don't progress as quickly as we expect. Small steps, however, allow us to focus on the present moment, on the actions we can take right now, without feeling overwhelmed by the larger goal. This sense of accomplishment, even with small progress, helps us stay motivated and committed. It reminds us that transformation is not a race, it's a journey. Moreover, small steps make the process of change more adaptable. As we take each step, we gain insight into what works for us and what doesn't. This self-awareness allows us to make adjustments along the way. Instead of sticking rigidly to a grand plan that may not be sustainable, small steps give us the flexibility to course correct and make decisions based on our unique circumstances. This flexibility ensures that the changes we make are realistic and aligned with our personal needs and desires. Transformation becomes not just a goal, but an evolving process that we learn to navigate with patience and wisdom. Another reason small steps are powerful is that they make change feel more integrated into our daily lives. Transformation doesn't happen because we make an occasional big decision. It happens because we choose to make small, intentional decisions every day. These decisions become part of our daily habits, ingraining them into the fabric of who we are. Whether it's choosing to eat a little healthier, work out for a few minutes every day, or take time to reflect on our goals, these small actions eventually shape our routines and our mindset. Over time, these small changes become ingrained in our identity. We don't just make changes on the surface, we transform from the inside out, becoming the kind of person who naturally embodies the changes we want to see. Small steps also help us build momentum. As we experience the benefits of each small action, we become more motivated to continue. It's the sense of progress that keeps us moving forward. The more small steps we take, the more confident we become in our ability to continue on this path. This momentum is key to creating lasting change. It keeps us engaged in the process, even when we face setbacks or obstacles. When we see how far we've come through small, consistent actions, we are more likely to stay committed to the journey. In the long run, small steps lead to transformation because they turn change into a part of who we are. They make the process of change feel natural, sustainable, and integrated into our lives. It's not about a single grand gesture. It's about committing to consistent, deliberate actions that add up over time. Each small step brings us closer to becoming the person we were meant to be. And with each step, we are creating lasting change that becomes a natural, powerful part of who we are. When we understand the power of small steps, we realize that change isn't something that happens to us. It's something we actively create, day by day, step by step. In conclusion, understand this profound truth. Greatness is not birthed in a single leap, but in the steady, deliberate steps we take every day. Each small decision, each modest action, is a seed planted in the soil of our future. The power of transformation lies not in the grandeur of a moment, but in the consistency of our commitment to the process. Small steps are the foundation upon which the extraordinary is built. As we move forward, we realize that every day presents an opportunity to step into the greatness that resides within us. Let us embrace the quiet power of small actions, for they shape our destiny, mold our character, and build the life we dream of. Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for it is through these steps that we build the resilience, confidence, and wisdom necessary for the big wins that lie ahead. Remember, transformation is not a destination, it is a journey, one small step at a time. Trust the process, commit to the small actions, and you will find yourself becoming the person you were destined to be. The greatness within you is waiting to be realized, not through grand gestures, but through the power of small steps every day.